for the next meeting, the Speaker may, on the request of the Senate Majority Leader or the Senate Minority Leader, and in each case with the support of at least 15 senators, appoint a day for a special sitting of the Senate. So in this Gazette notice that was issued is that this is the day that has been appointed. And it reads that pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 33, paragraph 1 of the Senate, on the request of the Senate Majority Leader, so in this regard, this particular special sitting followed the request of the Senate Majority Leader, of course getting the support of the requisite number of senators, in this case 15 senators, and this is the day that was appointed for this special sitting of the Senate, a sitting that is being held at the Senate chambers, as you can see on your screens. That is the Senate chamber main building, and this sitting is scheduled to begin from 9:30 to 1 p.m. and thereafter an afternoon to the conclusion of the business that has been lined up for consideration or to be transacted in this particular special sitting. Talking over the business that the members, as they make their way into the chambers already, we have seen the Majority Leader, Honorable Aaron Cheriot, who requested for this particular special sitting. The Deputy Speaker, Honorable Kathuri Murungi, also already in the chambers, among other members. The business that will be transacted.
Mwenyezi Mungu, tukusihi tutazame kwa neema nyingi na baraka. Mwenyezi Mungu, tukusihi tutazame kwa neema nyingi na baraka. Sisi watumishi wako ambao umeridhika kutuitwa kwa nyadhifa za uongozi katika jamhuri yetu. Tukuomba utuwajalie tuyatende na kufikia mambo yote atakayofikishwa mbele yetu kwa njia ya haki na uaminifu, ili kustawisha amani, ufanisi na heri ya nchi yetu na wale ambao haja zao umezikabidhi mikononi mwetu. Amen.
Well, the prayer has been within the precincts of Parliament, but yet to make their way into the chambers to do just that, seated inside the chamber. If that is not present, then that would necessitate this particular quorum bell that is currently underway, of course, to give more room for the members to make their way into the chambers. This is a 10-minute quorum bell as directed by the Speaker, and of course, as provided is the Leader of the Majority Party, Honorable Aaron Cheriot, of course, counting the members who are particular business. This morning, in this particular special sitting, various businesses are lined up for consideration. The County Government's Additional Allocations Bill that is currently at its second reading stage, Allocations Bill that is currently at its second reading stage in the Senate will this morning go through a debate. Members will start a debate on it. This is a bill that seeks to make provisions for the transfer of conditional allocations from national government's share of revenue and from development partners to the county governments for the financial year 2020. And in this case, the county governments will be expected to receive about 6.99 billion shillings from the national government's share of revenue, and from development partners a total of 42 billion. So these are monies that with regards to the financial year 2024, this is a bill that seeks to make provisions for that particular transfer of the conditional allocations from the national government's share of revenue, transfer of the conditional allocations from the national government's share of revenue and from development partners to the county governments for the 2024. And of course, also consideration of the reports of the Select Committee on County Public Investments and Special Funds Committee on its consideration of the reports of the Auditor General on the financial statements for the financial year 2020 on their expenditures with as well as allocations. There is a report that the Auditor General normally does and forwards it to Parliament for consideration. In these particular reports, there are recommendations that the Parliament is supportive of these reports from from Parliament, members of the Senate who may be within the precincts of Parliament, but yet to make their way into the chambers to do that. And at the entrance, of course, I can see more members making their way into the chambers. I believe in a short while that quorum will be achieved. And once that quorum is achieved, then I will, without any further delay, hand this particular business to the House. Of course, the Senate at Arms, as well as the clerk, shall alert the Speaker that the quorum has been achieved. Shall sitting to commence. With regards to the reports of the Select Committee on County Public Accounts, they are Akabit, Isiolo, Meru, Tharaka-Nithi, Embu, Kitui, Machakos, Makueni.
Now, Honorable Senators, in accordance with Standing Order 35, the business specified
Order number 5, papers.
Now, Honorable Senators, for convenience of the House, allow me to arrange today's order paper. We will come back to order number 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, 11, and 12 after we have done order number 13. So, Clerk, proceed to call that order.
Order number 13, the County Government's Additional Allocations Bill, Senate Bills number 1 of 2025, second reading.
The Chairperson, Standing Committee on Finance and Budget.
I'm told the committee is actually concluding on this report, and probably by the time I'd finish moving, they'll have the report in the House, or at least circulated in our online platforms for members to read and give their comments. Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to move that the County Government's Additional Allocations Bill 2025 be now read a second time. Mr. Speaker, sir, this bill is long overdue, and it's an embarrassment of monumental proportions that it has taken this long to agree on something that is so obvious and rather straightforward to us here in the Senate. Yet, because of reasons that are well known to all of us, it has been a push and pull between us and our colleagues in the National Assembly that has gotten us to the month of March, actually April, because this is in the last quarter actually of the financial year that counties are now going to receive funds that otherwise they should have received as early as July 1st, 2024. This is not what our Constitution intended, Mr. Speaker, when we drafted the ornaments of devolution. It was envisioned, Mr. Speaker, that there'd be timely release of funds, that we will agree on basic issues and get our counties up and running. In fact, Mr. Speaker, the reason I'm saying this is I'd wish to lay basis for many of our colleagues to understand why we're here and to understand the operations between us and the National Assembly better, have been calling and texting, asking if we can revert back to the old system. Mr. Speaker, I've had occurrence where I've met leaders, governors who probably have served here in the Senate, and they understand this very unique yet difficult relationship that we have to exist with our colleagues from the National Assembly who don't necessarily sometimes share the same sentiments as us on matters devolution. Previously, and we have followed the formula, the county government's additional allocations came about. The county government's additional allocations came about. We never imagined, though, that decision that was made in the best interest of our counties to ensure that equity reigns supreme, as the demands of our Constitution expect of us as a house of equity, Mr. Speaker, will later be used to undermine devolution. This is quite unfortunate that it takes this long, inordinately long, Mr. Speaker, for there to be an agreement, and especially in a context where the Senate is a bystander. You know, Mr. Speaker, of course, unless you're a stranger in this House, you know that it is the RMLF funds that have caused this delay, where we couldn't agree and bills are moved. Sometimes decisions are made without even consultation with the Senate, therefore it gets stuck. And there's just a delay after the other. Before you know it, we are on the 26th or 27th of March, like today, without having considered this particular bill. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I want to request that we expedite, now that there seems to be some headway, and I want to appreciate the diligence of the Budget and Finance Committee that have quickly considered this bill. The only part where you have failed, Senator Onyonka, Senator Boni, and the rest of the team, is that because you knew you were coming here today, and this was an extremely important business, perhaps you would have furnished us with the report, because now even I, as Majority Leader, I moved the bill without benefiting from the wisdom of you as a committee. I know you will share it, perhaps before members comment, but myself, I'll not have had the opportunity, maybe unless during the time of replying, because I know the finer details of any bill, Mr. Speaker, are always gotten from the reports of the committee and the members, and guide the House into making a decision that is in the best interest of devolution. Be that as it may, Mr. Speaker, I'm glad that the Senate is making this rather informed decision to ensure that, pursuant to Article 202 of our Constitution 2, that we are providing a process through which additional allocations for this financial year of 2024-2025 find their ways to the county. Mr. Speaker, this is not a small amount, and I'll rely on the wisdom of the committee members. To the best of my recollection, I think we are talking about in excess of 60 billion shillings. I'm not sure when the whip will be speaking, or Senator Onyonka, or any member of Budget and Finance, they will tell us actually on the 56 billion. So it's close to 60 billion shillings, Mr. Speaker, that needs to go to our counties. Even if that decision, even if we were to pass the bill as urgently as possible and have it concluded, to expect that counties will absorb those funds, knowing very well the processes of government funding on the side of counties. And some of these donor-funded projects, unfortunately, bound are such that if it gets, say, to the end of this financial year, then the loan expires and you have to renew the instruments, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, it's a very, very untidy situation. I hope that this never happens again. I don't recall a time where we have moved, actually, a bill for funding to counties this late into the financial year. This, unless my memory is failing me, to the best of my knowledge, this is the latest it has ever gotten to. And it's really unfortunate, Mr. Speaker. So what are some of these schedule of funds from the national government share of revenue? It includes, Mr. Speaker, funds that are so basic such as the construction of a county headquarters, a program, I think, in 2015, almost 10 years down the line. Even if you're constructing, surely, even if you're the contractor, by the time you're finishing the second floor, then the ground floor has started wearing out. What sort of building is this that you're building for more than 10 years, Mr. Speaker? I am happy that this is the last batch of funds that you're actually dispersing to these 5 counties that have suffered. I hope some were diligent enough to conclude using other resources or get contractors that have better ability and resources as such that the buildings have been finished up, and these funds only go to actually pay for work that has already been done. That's my prayer. But I know, Mr. Speaker, that it may not necessarily be true. It includes also funds or conditional allocations, Mr. Speaker, to the county aggregation and industrial park program as set out in column C. You know, this program, I still have a lot of questions about it. And members of Budget and Finance Committee, perhaps later in the year, once you're done with this budget-making cycle, it will be important that you follow through to your specific counties on what programs your governors are actually laying out to ensure that these CAIPs are not white elephant programs. COG, in partnership with the national government, and we support this idea of trying to whip up local goods and produce from our farmers and ensure that there is an aggregation process and a place through which we can enhance their trade. But in most counties, and this I speak from a position of knowledge, apart from the construction of the CAIPs, I don't see a concerted effort from the county governments to ensure that the produce is available. Otherwise, you will end up in a situation where there will be a fancy building that has been built in Taita Taveta, Senator Maruma, but then there are no local produce to take to those aggregation parks. There needs to be sensitization from the county governments to ensure that indeed, as expected and as envisioned in the program notes of this particular program, Mr. Speaker, that indeed the produce is available. What are you aggregating if you don't have those produce in the first place? And where is the meeting that has led and spoken to people and said, okay, in this particular area, we want to strengthen either poultry farming, dairy, avocados, whatever that we need to do, so that as of now, the investment into the produce needs to already be happening, so that in another few months, when the CAIP centers are ready, then the farmers are also, and the local cooperatives and CBOs are ready with the produce. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, unless perhaps maybe there are governors who are more diligent than the ones that I know, Mr. Speaker, then this is something that is of great concern to me. Conditional allocation for community health promoters, CHPs, Mr. Speaker, and this is a big problem because I know for a fact that there are many counties where CHPs actually continue to wait on this. And you know, the unfortunate bit, Mr. Speaker, is that you will find that CHPs have received the matching funds from the national government, but counties are being blamed that they have not paid CHPs actually. But what will they have used to pay with? Here's the funds now. Today is when, once you pass the additional allocation bill, Mr. Speaker, is when now it becomes possible for our counties to pay them. We must make a decision, and Budget and Finance Committee, you must lead us into making a proper decision, whether for programs such as this one of CAIPs that are in all the 47 counties, for programs such as this one of CHPs that are in all the 47 counties, is there a need to budget these funds separate from DORA? We learned from the experience of what this additional allocation business has taught us this current financial year. Remember the history that I painted earlier on how we found ourselves doing this particular bill, that we just wanted to ensure that there is equity in programs. Senate needed to have visibility and ensure that if there are additional funds going to counties, they are not skewed to benefit just a few counties. But programs such as this one of CHPs, CAIPs, that are in all the 47 counties, it is my considered humble view, Senator Boni Halwale and all the members of Budget and Finance Committee, that perhaps these are funds that we can include in DORA, as such that once we have decided on how much is going to the counties, Mr. Speaker, then there is no business as what we are having presently, where counties are CHPs are saying, we have received the share from the national government, but county governments are not paying. We have to make a better decision, Mr. Speaker. There is also arrears, actually, salary arrears for county government's health workers. No wonder they are always outside this particular Senate every other week. I have actually taken great concern, and there is something that I'm doing about it as a leader and somebody passionate about devolution, that we must be embarrassed, apart from just the usual decision that you make. You know, many times I see when people come to demonstrate here, senators join them, and we say, oh, yeah, we are going to fight for your rights, and that's the end of business. We must be a bit serious as leaders, you know, Mr. Speaker. You can't be granted legislative powers. Then, when people come to demonstrate, this time you join them and say, we'll think about it. Next year they come back again, you're still telling them, we'll do something about it. Surely, Mr. Speaker, we have to do something about this space of health workers in our counties, Mr. Speaker. Apart from this the funding model that is being proposed here in this particular bill, Mr. Speaker, there's just something that is not right in the architecture. And you must celebrate what happened to the teachers and think towards that particular line, Mr. Speaker, because when teachers ensure that they have a body that is representative here at the national level and looks into all their affairs, Mr. Speaker, in the form of TSC, we should have thought about something for the health workers as well. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I don't want to speak longer than that. The funds that are listed for the one that proceeds of the loans or grants for from the development partners, there are quite a number. There is DANIDA, which is supporting primary health in developed context. There is IDA and KISIP, the informal sector improvement project. This is another, and Senator Osotsi, I'm not sure whether it's your committee that looks into this particular specially allocated funds. Because if there are funds that have been wasted in our county governments, it is particularly this program. I don't know whether it is the way that it was designed, but the one where county governments are doing something in partnership with the national on the informal sectors. Apart from Cabro and the small works that are being done there, looking into the amounts actually that are being committed and the work that is being done is something that we expect your committee to lead us. Of course, there is even money for finance emergency of locust response project. Remember, there was a conversation about it. FLOCA, which is a local-led action on climate, county climate resilience investment. This one at least is a grant, but it doesn't mean that even if it is a grant, it is money that should be wasted. It should be used prudently. It's a grant to the people of our counties, and therefore should be used fairly well, Mr. Speaker. There is this other one of National Agriculture Value Chain Development Product. This is what I was talking about earlier, Senator Maruma. That should be the complement of the KIPES, that this program should be able to help our farmers at a local level begin to generate sufficient produce that will be aggregated into the KIPES. But so long as there is no correlation and people are just obsessed about who becomes the contractor of these projects or who does the shades, you know, we live in a very funny country, Mr. Speaker, that we must begin perhaps to move. If this money must be wasted, Mr. Speaker, and it's really unfortunate I have to say this, if this money must be wasted, then I'd rather it be wasted by ordinary citizens themselves, as opposed, Mr. Speaker, to allocating funds, shades, and structures without any direct benefit to the ordinary citizens. So these special funds, we must perhaps maybe ask for a project implementation report, how they were eventually used, what has been their success. And you know the unfortunate bit, Mr. Speaker, is that they have very funny long names. So to keep track even is not easy. Even you as a senator, you'll get easily confused because you'll be told this one is for the KISIP, this one is for FLOCA, this one is for this one with a difficult name for agriculture. So to keep track of all these fundings that end up in our county governments and the expected impact is something that bothers us. Finally, Mr. Speaker, is with those many remarks, Mr. Speaker, the listing is there of how much is going to each county. And this is as the bill came, Mr. Speaker. I want to believe that our colleagues from Budget and Finance, without seeing the amendments, that I already support their position because I'm aware of some of the proposals that have been made there. With those very many remarks, Mr. Speaker, I want to request the whip of a majority side, who's a member of a Budget and Finance Committee, to second and help us understand better even more salient issues that perhaps I may have missed in my moving notes. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, debate keeps on raging in this country on who is the actual enemy of it. It's not too clear, but I'm starting to think that senators, governors, and members of the National Assembly are actually enemies of devolution, including myself. Mr. Speaker, I say this with maximum respect because the object of this bill is a simple thing. Provide a tool to transfer additional funds from the national government to the devolved governments in accordance with the recommendation of the Constitution. So, the process was done, as you'll remember, and at its tail end, the recommendations which came from the first enemy and disagreed with them, then created a mediation committee. When you send us to that mediation committee, Mr. Speaker, we were shown the middle finger. To hell with it. And this is why, leader of the majority, we are now dealing with this business at the end of the financial year. The donors must be thinking we are mad people. Because what has happened is that the borrowed money has left the respective banks of those countries. The money is with the national treasury. Those countries are already charging interest. But as the money is at the national treasury, because senators, members of the National Assembly, yesterday, Mr. Speaker, but important, because it brought together senators, members of the National Assembly, governors, permanent secretaries, cabinet secretaries from a certain region of this country. And when we were in that meeting, in his wisdom, Senator Osotsi brought up this matter. And he was supported by the governor of Busia, Paulo Tuoma. Do you know, shamelessly, almost went into disarray. Members of the National Assembly who were attending booed these two leaders in front of the president. We are not serious. And as the leader of the majority has told the country, the real reason is because members of the National Assembly want to benefit from the contracts that will arise from these additional funds. Some of them are contractors. Mr. Speaker, what do we do? And if one of you is not doing any of these things, they say you are not woke. You are not up to it. If you are really woke, you should be one of the people participating in those contracts so that you look rich and live large. We are at a place whereby we have to speak to the soul of the nation and realize that this country will succeed or fail depending on us. Mr. Speaker, the gist we pass, if we do, is that the counties will now access a whopping 50.5 billion. It is there. It is there. We just pass it today, and counties will access 50.5 billion. Why would a member of the National Assembly not support that money going to the county where he comes from? and all counties are benefiting. Leader of the majority in the Senate, leader of the majority in the National Assembly, the presidency, you must bring the leaders together. We stop this nonsense. Members of Parliament as the ones delaying this because they want to do business. So what have we done, Mr. Speaker? We have created 4 schedules. In the first schedule, we've made it easy. You'll see it, and we want to apologize for not having tabled the report by now. We've just finished a few minutes ago. In the first schedule, Mr. Speaker, we have put 7.5 billion, which is the additional allocations that come from the national government as a share of revenue raised nationally. I'll go to the specifics. Then in the second schedule, we've made it easy. We have segregated the 10.5 billion shillings that governors and MPs are fighting over the road maintenance levy. That we have created a second schedule for clarity. And in the third schedule, we have put money that is realized from court fines that are collected at various points where we have courts in the counties. And in the final schedule, we have then created a schedule showing the loans and grants. Having simplified it that way, Mr. Speaker, we have taken the first important step which we are asking this House to support this morning. Namely, we have removed from the bill any mention of that thing, road maintenance levy. It is a debate that cannot end. Removed it completely from the bill. Until the courts have made a decision. Because if you do anything here, it brings in the long story of sub judice and so on and so forth. So we have put it aside completely. Then we have remained with those 3 schedules. So there are these 3 schedules that I want to speak to for you to appreciate so as to pass it quickly this morning. And in the first schedule, Mr. Speaker, the 7.54 billion will go towards construction of the stalled headquarters at those 5 counties that you all know. The second one will go to CAIPs, County Aggregated Industrial Parks. They are going to be undertaken in only 19. And this money has been enhanced, Mr. Speaker. Now, when you look at your schedule, your county might or might not benefit. So don't slow down the process by saying, okay, my county has not benefited and therefore I'm not going to support. It is because the National Treasury, and we have agreed with them as a committee, has phased out this process because the money is not enough. Phased out 18 counties, phase 1, phase 2, 18 counties, and finally phase 3, 11 counties. At the end of the phasing, everybody will have gotten the 250 million meant for this. So even if your county like Kakamega is not benefiting, we still, like my Kakamega, we still pass it. Mr. Speaker, and then of course there is the issue of the community health promoters. It is in there with a salary of 3.234 billion shillings and basic salary for county health workers worth 1.7 and transfer of museums to these counties, because museum under the constitution is supposed to have been devolved, but it was delayed. So we are cleaning it up, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in the third schedule, which is fines, it is up to million shillings. These fines, we have decided to pass it, quote unquote, shingo pande, because it is even not clear to us. When the National Treasury just throws it at us, that go and share out 116 million shillings, what is the authenticity of that figure? What tool do we have when money is being collected in Mombasa and it is taken to the consolidated fund. Now, when they declare to us that, Senate, go and share it out, how do we know that the figure they declare is the actual and that they did not collect more? It has created a window for theft of public funds, and the committee has this morning directed that not the National Treasury, written to the Auditor General to do an audit of these court fines, because we believe that the money collected in Kenya has got fines, Senator, for Nairobi. The whole of Kenya, it cannot be for 2 financial years, only 116 million. It surely must be more. So we've been disturbed, and we have ordered for that special audit. It will be done, and we shall report to the House. The final schedule, which is on grants, on grants and loans. It is the one that contains the lion's share of the amount of money. It is 35.66 billion shillings. I will not waste the time of the House by saying all the loans, describing them. They're in the schedule you're going to see, but basically that is where the biggest shame that the leader of the majority was speaking to, that we are having money to develop the country, and because of some funny interests, we are where we are. I therefore want to conclude in seconding this by, since the leader of the majority was not in the committee, by thanking the stakeholders who enabled us to come up with this very comprehensive report. And colleagues, we've tried to do a good job. In fact, today we started at 7 a.m. We've just finished. We've tried to do a good job. Where your county doesn't seem to be getting the best, please just agree with us so that we can make progress. I thank you, all of you, and with those remarks, Mr. Speaker, I second.
Honourable Senators, I will now proceed to put the question that the County Government's Additional Allocations Bill I proceed to propose the question that the County Government's Additional Allocations Bill, Senate Bills number 1 of 2025, be now read a second time. The floor is now open for debate. Honourable Senator Sifuna.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. I will suffer the same incapacity as the leader of majority that, we have not had the benefit of the report of the committee, but Senator Khalwale has attempted to shed some light on what the committee has done. First of all, allow me to comment on the question of the road maintenance levy fund. Honourable Speaker, our constitution has set out everybody's job. Everybody's job is clear in the constitution that certain classifications of road are going to be done by the county government, certain classifications are going to be done by national government. I am very proud as SG of ODM that my party leader and my party has taken a position on this question of RMLF, because we are solid believers and defenders of the constitution, and we believe in devolution. My party leader's position, and which is my position, is that members of the National Assembly has no business. They have no business constructing roads. And if they have a problem, the problem is not with Sifuna. I take my instructions from my boss, my party leader. And as a senator of Nairobi, I have been charged to ensure that we defend devolution at every turn. So that even in that matter that is before the courts, I remember the chair of the Council of Governors, who also happens to be from my party, appeared before the Roads Committee, and he gave us a chronology of this fight. And in his wisdom, he had indicated that, in fact, they had tried to have conversations with the National Assembly, but those conversations never work. Because I remember when we were doing mediation on the division of revenue, the members of the National Assembly, in very condescending tones, were telling us that we as the senators should go and tell the governors to withdraw the case in court on RMLF. And we agreed with the chair of the Council of Governors as senators that we want that matter to be resolved by the courts once and for all. Because the law is there, the constitution is there, there is absolutely no reason why we should be fighting about this. And the most callous thing, Honorable Speaker, I have never been a member of the National Assembly, and maybe one day if I will be, maybe this, I don't want to use the word disease, but this attitude maybe will come over me, that somehow they have dissected the populations, they know the people who belong to the national government and the people who belong to the county governments. That, Honorable Speaker, it doesn't matter what prejudice the people suffer, for as long as the National Assembly does not get what it wants, then we can hold the entire thing at ransom. I remember sitting here with those members, I don't want to mention their names, but they know themselves. Honorable Speaker, they told us in no uncertain terms that if they don't get RMLF, we will not get division of revenue. And I hear they've told Senator Khalwale's committee the same thing, that in fact, if they don't get these RMLF funds, they don't care whether CHPs are being paid. I am very happy that you are able as a committee to distinguish these things, to separate them, and let that controversy over RMLF be resolved in the courts in accordance with the law. But really, it is very callous, even for the members of the National Assembly, the 17 of them from Nairobi. I don't think that they would feel proud that CHPs, the 7,400 CHPs in Nairobi, can go without pay for all these months just because they want to continue to build roads. Honorable Speaker, I want therefore to say that we hope that that controversy is resolved. As people who understand the Constitution and people who understand devolution, we know that the Council of Governors and this Senate are on the right side. I don't think, Khalwale, we are the enemies of devolution. We have stood very firm on the floor of this House in our committees, even when we were doing mediation on division of revenue, to make it very clear to the National Assembly that, first of all, we are not enemies of the National Assembly, but we have an oath that we swore on this Constitution to defend county governments and their interests. And if the Constitution says a certain role is to be executed by the devolved units, we have a responsibility to defend that position. So when we say that it is our belief, both as a Senate, as a Senator of Nairobi, as SG of ODM, as a member of ODM, that RMLF should be fully devolved, the entire amount should go to the county governments, it is because that is what the law says. Honorable Speaker, if you look at the schedule, the first schedule, you will see that for us in Nairobi, really, we were concerned with only two issues. Number one is, of course, that issue of the road maintenance levy. We have a budget of about 390 million Kenya shillings in the supplementary budget for 2024-2025 for maintenance of roads. Those of you who have been moving around our estates in Nairobi, and I can see the Deputy Speaker looking at me because he's not very happy with the situation of the roads in Nairobi. And I am sure all of you have problems. You go to places in Kilimani, you go to Isili, everywhere our roads are in pathetic shape. And we were hoping that this impasse is resolved because it is also acknowledged that we need the resources to be able to do these roads. And therefore, we hope that it will be resolved as soon as possible. But you can see on that schedule, the first schedule, Honorable Speaker, we have the 224 million Kenya shillings, which is sufficient to cover the stipend of 2,500 shillings for 7,464 CHPs for 12 months. And then there is an amount that has been allocated there for basic salary arrears for county government health workers. And the majority leader, when he was here, he spoke about these health workers always showing up at our gate here, Honorable Speaker. And last week, there was such an event, just before we broke for recess, and you dispatched me and the Senator for Meru to go and speak to them. And I was very happy that we are not just paying lip service. The majority leader was not here. We were very proud that as a House, under the leadership of the Speaker, specific instructions were issued to the Committee on Health to bring all those stakeholders on board, to be able to have that conversation. And I was speaking that day, I was not even sure, I was not aware, Speaker, that the Committee of Health of this House, that same day, had the ministry before them, and the chair, I have not seen him, but I remember seeing on the news that they gave certain deadlines to the ministry to be able to clear arrears of salaries for these county health workers, and including, what are they called? Yes, the UHC workers. So I am very happy, Majority Leader, that as a House, there are things we are doing in order to assuage the situation there, and we are not just paying lip service. Honorable Speaker, of course, I think there was an agreement with the judiciary, the courts, and therefore you might not find allocations of money out of court fines for Nairobi, Honorable Khalwale. But I agree with you that there needs to be greater transparency in disclosures from Treasury on amounts of money that are collected in terms of court fines originating out of enforcement of county legislation. If you look across the country, of course, Nairobi is notorious. The number of people who are arrested on a daily basis for violation of bylaws, and then even today, it is full of people who are being charged with various violations, and it is true that we need greater disclosures from Treasury on these amounts. So therefore, Speaker, with all those remarks, I will be hoping that we will have view of the report to see how the other matters have been treated, but it is very, very unfair. I honestly believe it is very unfair that we have kept counties waiting or awaiting these resources for such a long time just because of a dispute amongst leaders. At the end of the day, I remember during the mediation on DORA, we agreed on certain basic things. That number one, there doesn't exist a Kenyan who belongs to the national government and one who belongs to the county governments. And the number two, most times if there is a bridge over a river that has collapsed due to floods, the ordinary user of that bridge does not care who comes to repair it or where the sources of those funds are, where the funds are going to come from. They just want the bridge repaired. So as leaders, really, we should not have a situation where a standoff between the Council of Governors and the National Assembly results in such a situation, and including the many donor-funded projects, especially because of happenings that are going on in the US, this supporting healthcare in our counties. So with those very many remarks, Honorable Speaker, I want to support the report of the committee, and I hope that there will be resolution on the remaining or pending matters to do with road maintenance levy fund. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Murango.
Asante sana Mstahiki Speaker. Kwanza ningetaka kwanza kushukuru kamati ya fedha kwa kazi nzuri waliofanya. Lakini na maneno mawili tu ya kusema. Kwanza niseme ya kwamba adui mkubwa wa ugatuzi ni wale waliokaa katika bunge la kitaifa. Na Mswahili husema kimembacho kikivunja nafuu kwa mchukuzi. Uongozi wa bunge la kitaifa unafaa kumakinika kuhakikisha kwamba tunapopitisha, kwa sababu sisi ndio walinzi wa ugatuzi, tunapopitisha miswanda hapa si lazima kuwe na vuta ni kuvute, kwa sababu fedha ambazo zinazokuja hazikuji kwetu kama seneta, zinaenda katika kufaidi wa Kenya. Na kwa hivyo ningetaka kuwasuta kwa hilo, na niseme ya kwamba kucheleweshwa kwa pesa mali zimefika. Mstahiki Speaker, mua ukipewa kimbogoyo mzee aliyozeeka kama zawadi na kuanga ni matusi. Pesa tulio nayo siku ya leo, tunayopitisha siku ya leo, imechelewesha kwenda kule kwa sababu ya vuta ni kuvute ambazo hazina maana. Ingawa tunafuraha kwa sababu kama wale maofisa wa ugani ambayo wanafanya kazi ngumu katika gatuzi zetu, wataweza kupata pesa zao, kwa sababu naona kama Kirinyaga kuna milioni 36 na kwa muda ambao hawakuwa wamelipwa. Ni kwamba hakukuwa na maana yoyote ya kuwachelewesha kiwango hicho na kazi ngumu wanaofanya kule mashinani. Mstahiki Speaker, wengi wanaenda mguu kama mawakala wa ng'ombe, wengine hawana hata usafiri kuhakikisha kwamba afya inatunzwa katika sehemu zile za kule mashinani. Kwa hivyo nimesema ya kwamba kuteseka huko kwote ni kwa sababu ya jitihada ambazo zilifanywa na wabunge wa bunge la kitaifa na kuchelewesha miswada ambayo tunapitisha hapa. Mstahiki Spika, tumepewa kazi moja muhimu sana, kuwa walinzi wa ugatuzi. Lakini mlinzi mpaka pia apewe silaha. Kwa sababu bunge la Seneti limekuwa likimbweka ya kutosha. Nadhani wakati wa kuuma umefika, ili wajue ya kwamba pia sisi sio vikaragosi na wanasesere wa siasa. Sisi pia ni Seneti na pia jukumu lazima tuhakikishe. Nadhani kuna venye wanatuchukulia kwa urahisi kama bei ya chumvi, kwamba miswada yote tukipitisha hapa tukipeleka kule, hata ambao hawanja soma unasikia wakiongea mitaani na kupinga ile miswada. Jitihada mpaka tufanye ili tueleweke na tuheshimike. Mstahiki Spika, nikimalizia, ni jambo la kushangaza sana kwamba vita imekuja kwa sababu ya pesa ambazo zinafaa kwenda kuangalia masuala ya barabara mashinani. Na wenyewe wanajua vizuri, ukiangalia vizuri ni kwamba barabara zimegawa kutoka yenye inaenda kwa Kenya, zenye zilikuwa zinashughulikiwa na Kera, zenye zinatengenezewa zinatunzwa na Kura, na pia katika katuzi zetu. Wakati wametoa zile pesa ambazo zinafaa kwenda kuangalia masuala ya barabara, hiyo ndio inafanya katika kaunti nyingi unapata barabara zinakaa kama mahandaki, zimechimbika, pesa za kufanya hiyo kazi hakuna. Lakini lazima pia tunaongea ukweli kwamba wakati sisi tunapigania kama siku ya leo, kwa sababu saa hii seneta yote ambaye ako hapa akikutana na gavana wake atapigwa pambaja kwa kazi nzuri ambao, kwa sababu leo tunakuja kupitisha pesa itaenda mashinani. Tukimaliza leo, kesho tutakuwa ni maadui wakubwa pia wa mangavana ambao tunatetea siku ya leo. Utasikia kwamba anapiga kelele, hajui kazi yake. Tunajua kazi yetu, lakini kesho itakuwa tujui kazi yetu. Nataka niseme kwamba venye tumembweka na kulinda kuhakikisha kwamba mangavana amepata pesa, tutambweka hivyo hivyo pesa zikitumika visivyo kama bunge la Seneti. Asante sana Mstahiki Spika.
Senator Onyonka.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. One of the points I wanted to make, that because of the inevitable delay in the report being ready, the report which was done by the committee is actually much better. Colleagues will receive it because it clearly demarcates the schedules, the money from donor funding, conditional grants, and all other monies that need to go to every county. Number two, there is also clarity what every county has gotten in terms of donor funding, the FLOCA money, and all these other monies which have been in the program. Mr. Speaker, I would like to thank the Majority Leader for his comments, and my friend, my brother, Honorable Boni Halwale, who we woke up at 7 o'clock in the morning to go and make sure that this report is done. Mr. Speaker, this matter of dealing with the road maintenance levy fund is a problem. And it's a problem that has held us back until this time. I believe that the decision to allow the courts determine for us this matter in finality makes sense. Number two, Mr. Speaker, I would like to also say that I'm actually very happy that the committee, for the first time, with clarity, I remember, Speaker, we've come into this house and we've always asked that give us the amounts every county is getting in figures and from what agency, so that then, Mr. Speaker, we can explain to our people what needs to be done. I'm sure this House is aware that governors have already pronounced themselves. In fact, they were giving us 14 days so that they can make sure that this document is tabled here so that we can approve the money. My honest observation is that, yes, just as much as governors are our partners, and we really want them to succeed, and we want to make sure that the funds are utilized well and effectively, we are beginning to feel that our governors are not giving us the best. Mr. Speaker, if you look at the audit discussions that have been taking place for the last 2 weeks, you'll realize that there's a lot of misappropriation, waste, and misuse of public funds. Audits are not up to date. In fact, Mr. Speaker, because I'm also in a position to know that the audits which we did the whole of last year, we are actually up to 2024-25. There are about 6 counties that their books have never been audited for the last 4 years. That's what they're struggling with. My feeling is that we would want to request our governors to use the money prudently, make sure that they are responsible, reduce the noise, the political noise that you have in the county governments, because Kenyans just want service delivery. Mr. Speaker, Kenyans just want nothing else but to give them service delivery, make sure that we pay our nurses and doctors, make sure that our teachers are paid on time, make sure that capitation money arrives in our schools on time, make sure that money for road construction arrives on time. If that happens, I saw yesterday, Mr. Speaker, where there was a debate, public debate as to why are Kenyans hungry. Angry. I don't think Kenyans are angry. Kenyans just want service. University students want their money to be available for their education. Teachers want their money for capitation to be available. Those who need to be promoted, promote them. Community health workers, people who are playing a very, very services within our country. Medical services are actually given first priority. You find that we are not able to compensate them, pay their allowances. As you've had the Secretary General, ODM, my leader, Honorable Sifuna, talk, he has said here very clearly, for the last 3 months, we've been having members from the medical fraternity coming to the gates of the Senate to make noise why we are not paying them, why we are not honoring their CBAs, the agreements which some of them were signed 2-3 years ago. So, Mr. Speaker, I would like to say that as a committee, we appreciate the support that we have received from this House. As a committee, I think the team has worked diligently. I want to thank my chair, Honorable Roba, who has really, really pushed. While he's aware, we've been having Honorable Halwale with his experience and energy to hold in brief. I think we've presented to this House a report that is believable, that is factual. Every county, the money that has been given has been stated, whether it is for health, whether it is for agriculture, whether it's for roads. And I would like to say, Mr. Speaker, that the teams that were looking at the figures and the amounts and the amount of consternation it was raising. There were many issues that we dealt with, and we felt that because we don't have time, there was no need for us to have disagreements in terms of what the numbers were and what they were not. The only thing I want to remind many here is that last year there was a group of about 18 counties that were given money for the industrial parks, and we waited. I am happy that Kisii County, for example, Mr. Speaker, has also now been given the money for the industrial park, the money which was allocated for cancer as a special project has also been allocated. So I am positive and hopeful that we will continue working hard in this House. We will be standing our ground. I am happy that the senators, many senators in this House are now seized of the fact that we must be the people who are going to defend devolution. We must be the people who are going to make sure that when the money goes to the county governments, let us make sure, Mr. Speaker, that this money does the service that it's supposed to do, so that I am happy that the amount is about 50 billion, which is not small money. I believe that we will be able to finish the county aggregation and industrial parks. I believe there are many issues coming. I want to raise this issue, Mr. Speaker, before I forget. Honorable Halwale, I want to tell you that we need to engage our colleagues in the National Assembly to realize that they have to make a decision whether they are going to become the tenderpreneurs in government projects and deals, or whether they are going to serve the public in making sure that the money arrives at the county governments and their constituencies. There's a lot going on in our counties. There's a lot going on in our sub-counties. And Mr. Speaker, there's a lot going on in our sub-counties. And Mr. Speaker, my honest observation is that unless we begin to become prudent, and we need to deliver services to our people. But otherwise, I want to say that the last item, which again, Mr. Speaker, you had Honorable Halwale mention, is the fact that yes, fines are collected by the courts, and then these fines are supposed to be transferred to the consolidated fund. What we realized for the last 3 years that we've been looking at these figures, we have actually never had anybody say whether there was an audit done on these fines, whether the money is still being domesticated at the judiciary, or whether the money was transferred to the consolidated fund and budgeted for other purposes. I believe this would be a good call, because even if this money may not be so much, any money right now is needed in our republic. And I hope that we will continue to make sure that we maintain prudency and dignity in making sure that our resources are utilized effectively, fairly, equitably, and prudently. And this issue, another matter that I would like to finally engage in and explain to my colleagues in this House, we have been conducting audit report, and I would wish that my colleagues deeply look through, particularly this Senate. It is your responsibility to try and save the county governments, because they are really, really in trouble. Finally, we need to come up and solve this problem of where all governors, and indeed they are correct, that there is always late disbursement of funds from the exchequer. That matter must be sorted out, because, Mr. Speaker, anytime you delay payments of a trader or a business person who was a supplier, naturally you understand what that means. It means that his loans are either not going to be serviced. You're going to find some of these people have been auctioned in several counties. Some of these contractors have died, and you know, Mr. Speaker, governors are no longer paying pending bills. Mr. Speaker, I second, and I hope that it will be expedited immediately so that the money can be sent to the county governments. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Now, Honorable Senators, for clarity and to guide the debate, we are on the second reading of the bill. Therefore, your debate should be based on the bill as opposed to a report, because the few senators who've contributed, they've actually not gone into the bill itself. So kindly base your comments on the bill, because we are debating a bill that has come for the second reading. Senator Kathuri.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, also for giving me this opportunity to comment on this very important bill touching on actually the core nerve of our work to make sure that devolution works in this country, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this bill is actually making provisions for the transfer of conditional allocations from national government's share of revenue and from development partners, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as you have guided, we are actually supposed to look into the content of the bill. And Mr. Speaker, first of all, is also to make a concern that these disbursements are coming towards the end of the financial year, Mr. Speaker. We are entering the fourth quarter next month, and that is, we have really drained the counties from spending this money to the people that we represent. All the same, Mr. Speaker, I want to comment on the county aggregations and industrial parks, which 19 counties are benefiting from this fund, Mr. Speaker. And if we go by the figures, which is 105,263,158 per every the 19 counties, Mr. Speaker. But my concern also is whether also the counties have matched this amount, because the counties were to give out 250 million, and then the national government was to give 250 million to make it 500 million. So my concern is whether also the 19 counties, how far is this amount? And I remember reasoning to one of the programs in Meru FMs, this 105, then it means that project can be almost now, if all the other monies were released, we should be at almost 75%, Mr. Speaker. Another issue, Mr. Speaker, is the CHPs. And as my colleague, the Senator for Nairobi, has well spoken, that you sent us to talk to the CHPs when he came at the gate of the Senate, Mr. Speaker. And I'm happy that you committed the Committee of Health to work on this matter. And Mr. Speaker, maybe in the next after recess, we need to know the progress from the chair of the Health Committee, because, Mr. Speaker, it becomes very disheartening that citizens of this country, this youth, can work for us and all for our parents, for our children, for all of us, the population of Kenya, and then they are not able to get the money that they are supposed to earn from their sweat, Mr. Speaker. But I'm happy that this money, once we dispense, transmitted to the county governments, so that also they can be paid. Again, also, Mr. Speaker, is also to ask myself, are the county governments also giving also their part of the bargain? Because they are sharing almost 50-50 with the national treasury. So my concern also is whether the counties are able also to match this money so that the CHPs can get their allocation, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the elephant on this bill is this schedule for the RMLA fund, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when I served in the National Assembly, where Senator Sifuna doesn't know what happens there, Mr. Speaker, we used to have all the allocations. There was allocation for Kera, for Kura, for Kena. I know also the percentages. And also there was also allocation for county roads, Mr. Speaker. How the National Assembly, that I think the Parliament has decided not to release this money to the county governments is a shock to me, Mr. Speaker. Because I remember actually 10% of this fund was going to the counties. Because we have county roads. The road going to my house is a county road. Mr. Speaker, as we speak, that road is very dilapidated because it's just from the highway, which is under Class B, under Kena, and then going to my house, you use now it's the county road. It cannot be funded by Kera. So if this money cannot get to the counties, Mr. Speaker, then it means I will never get to my house after these rains, Mr. Speaker. So it should be, I think, the first priority even from our courts, even though we don't direct the courts on what to do, Mr. Speaker, some matters are of national interest. So, Mr. Speaker, I wish our courts could really decide on this matter once and for all so that this money can go to the counties to make our own. And when members of parliament start these I don't want to say marking his because I want to use parliamentary language, Mr. Speaker, as much as possible. When they go and make these decisions, looking at their personal benefits, as not looking at the entire picture, Mr. Speaker. Like in Meru, for example, we have 284 million, which should go to Meru. And this, because we have 9 constituencies, every constituency can benefit from approximately that million per constituency, Mr. Speaker. And this is good money for those roads because you need just to grain and gravel, Mr. Speaker. So I think the National Assembly should stop drilling devolution. Mr. Honorable Senator Karware said that we have 3 enemies of devolution: the National Assembly, the Senate, and the county governments themselves. Mr. Speaker, I want to exonerate myself from his statement that, Mr. Speaker, I am a true defender of devolution. And when matters touching on devolution, especially on mere matters, even come to this floor or even outside this floor, Mr. Speaker, I'm the first defender, Mr. Speaker. And my colleagues know my position. When I decide the mayor should work, I mean it. And I usually go the best I can so that I can see or I can feel that the mayor is working. I'm a very happy person, Mr. Speaker. Even though you are taken to court, I want to digress for 1 minute, Mr. Speaker. But when you yourself, the Speaker of the Senate, your petition, there was a petition to the High Court, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank you because you really stood the ground of the Senate and said once a governor is impeached, she will remain impeached, Mr. Speaker. And I want to thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, your office, and also the clerk's office, because I know the Senate put a lot of effort on this matter. And Mr. Speaker, Senate has now been respected. Let me tell you for 3 honorable senators, the Senate has been respected because the decision that the Senate made has been upheld. And therefore, when I sometimes see senators trying to, I think, to play around with some decisions made by the Senate, I really feel for us, Mr. Speaker, because our house shouldn't be this.
First of all, and I want to start with the Schedule 2 on road maintenance levy. You know, Honorable Speaker, I sit in a committee on roads with Senator Wambua, and the CS came before that committee and told us, surprisingly,
that he has gotten 7 shillings per litre added on fuel levy. And the 7 shillings is going, and the collection, if I'm not wrong, is about 75 million every year. And surprisingly, he's discounting that money 6 years in advance. What does that mean? He's going to borrow money, or he's going to government, but pay that money in advance so that he can settle bills that are pending at the ministry. Honorable Speaker, I want to support what Senator Kitui has just said. If they are going to use the 7 shillings, at least half of that money should go to counties. Honorable Speaker, the county governor who is in charge of roads, I think it is governor for Kiambu, before our committee one time. And what he said that time, what he told the committee was, they have thousands and thousands of kilometers of roads in the counties that are not being managed by the counties because they don't have funds. So if today the National Assembly, let's say for example, the CS wants to take the 7 shillings, and the 15 shillings, the National Assembly wants to take that money and control the roads, be conducive. Number 2, delay in payment. Their salaries or whatever they are being paid should be paid in time. Honorable Speaker, I want to take you to 3rd schedule on the issue of court fines. I've seen 10 counties receiving money meant for collected from the fines. Other senators have also said. Other senators are saying accountability for these funds should be opened so that we need to know how much money is being received and how much money is being given to the counties, and why is this money given to only 10 counties? I don't know the reason. Somebody can even tell me. Finally, Honorable Speaker, the problem, what the National Assembly is trying to put forward is that the counties are corrupt. Counties are not managing their resources very well. But you see, Honorable Speaker, yes, we have a problem. But the problem in the counties are supposed to be managed, oversighted by this House. The money can be budgeted. You will find the people will go for public participation. The community will say what they want. The budget will be undertaken. And after that budget is undertaken, then there will be another budget, which is called the supplementary budget, will be brought. Once they bring that budget, you will find that what the people have asked for is not going to be there. They've been removed. What this House needs to do, Honorable Speaker, is to follow each county. What budget did they put forward? And what was the public participation? What did they ask for? What did the people ask for? And then after knowing what the people have asked for and the budget has been dealt with, we need to know what is on the ground. Honorable Speaker, we have 47 counties, and I want to challenge my friends here. Please, whatever budget you are seeing on paper, go to your county if the work has been done or even started or completed. You will find that most of the works, I think in some instances, even 50, 60% are not done. Some are not complete. So we need to, when we pass this budget, when we support, we are thinking of supporting the governors. Yes, we need to support the governors, but we need also to support our people. We are not supporting an individual, we are supporting communities. If you really care about your community, where you come from, please visit your counties, go to the wards you have, and see what project has been initiated, what project has been completed, what project has not been completed, so that you will know exactly the situation you are in. And the road to my house is called, it's Indege Road. And then there is a rough road called Korongo Road. It's about 1.1 kilometer. That road, some contractors put some stones and not finished. It takes me from current shopping center to Korongo Road about 2 minutes. From Korongo Road, from Ndege Road to Korongo Road will take me about 10, 15 minutes. Why? Because the monies that are supposed to go to the counties are not going to the counties. 7 shillings have been taken by the national government. 15 shillings, our friends, our brothers and sisters at the National Assembly want to take that money. That one is unacceptable. We will not, like what Senator Amboa said, the money is for Marsabit. If it is not going to Marsabit County, I will personally go to court to stop the National Assembly from taking this money from the counties. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Next is Senator Catherine Muyeka.
Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to this bill. Mr. Speaker, this is the easiest bill to pass because as a result of the pull and push, the egos of the National Assembly. Mr. Speaker, I was a member of the mediation committee on the SIGA bill, and it is so unfortunate that we could not discuss anything coherently because we were being blackmailed. We were being asked to speak to governors that what they were doing was not only undermining the people of Kenya, but it was also undermining the government program. For those of you in Kenya Kwanza, the bottom-up economic transformation agenda is actually seriously undermined by this delay. I can see majority is not here, but when you look at the first schedule, Mr. Speaker, the first schedule is about additional allocations from national government revenues, which actually means it is about implementing projects and programs that are within national government development agenda. Some of this includes the what was promised in the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. And I remember trying to raise it to the then chair of budget, who was the co-chair in the mediation, Mr. Ndindi Nyoro. I was asking him, I thought you are the supporter of bottom-up economic transformation agenda. How do you undermine this? Projects that you should be showing Kenyans that you're implementing, you promised to come up with industrial parks in partnership with county governments. It was not county government's agenda, it was national government agenda. But you are here undermining the passing of the law that will deliver on that. Mr. Speaker, we will need majority leader, when you people have your PG, to actually advise your colleagues in the National Assembly that some of the decisions that you make actually undermine your own development agenda. So we won't be able to show much on all these programs in the first schedule because of the ego trips between the National Assembly, actually mainly by the National Assembly, that have delayed this issue. I would like us to apologize, period. So I'm requesting that the Finance Committee or the Senate at large, recently. Mr. Speaker, I would then want to speak to the fourth schedule, The fourth schedule is about the development partners funds that are being on additional allocations. Mr. Speaker, out of 14 funds, additional allocations. Mr. Speaker, out of 14 funds, only 2 are grants. 12 of those funds are loans, loss that has been occasioned by the 8 months delay in operationalizing these loans. And I am suggesting that the Finance Committee get a report from the Parliamentary Budget Office, an assessment of how much has been lost in terms of public funds when we consider the fines and the commissions we have to pay, because as soon as we signed those grants, as soon as we signed the loans, the charging has already commenced. It is important that the people of Kenya get to know. It is also important that the National Assembly gets to appreciate how much we are losing as a result of these ego trips. So it will be good to know in terms of the penalties that we are being charged. It would also be good to know the value loss that we have had because of the delays in implementing the projects that ought to have started. If we don't bring this on, if we don't actually put a value on what we are losing, then they don't appreciate. They imagine it is just a matter of showing who is, it's an ego trip about who is or who has the powers between the two houses. And it will be good in future for us to be able to tell the Kenyans that we are losing this much because National Assembly does not want to implement devolution. Mr. Speaker, I'm requesting that that figure be given to us on how much we have lost on the 12 loans in terms of the commissions that we are being charged and the commissions that we are being charged and the cost of not implementing these programs. Mr. Speaker, when it comes to the schedule, the committee, that even though they have passed it, we need to find a more transparent formula in which we can determine how much of these court fines are coming in and how much each county has to get. When you look at that schedule, it's very few counties that are receiving any monies out of the court fines. I have no clue why it is only those counties. It will be good to know how much we are getting out of this and how much in terms of apportionment will be going to all the other counties as well. So as I finalize, my plea is that as a Senate, let us ensure we don't have a repeat of what has happened, and that might mean that we think out of the box in terms of how we want to pass the SIGA bill, and if it means there is a big conversation around within the summit and among the two or between the two houses, we need to truly find a solution so that National Assembly appreciates that funds that have been negotiated in loan agreements, grant agreements, funds that have been put in budgets courtesy of the national government development agenda are funds that we cannot hold back merely because we want a particular fund to pass. I think it's the most shameful thing that they use the RLMF to actually blackmail the country on very, very important funds and to delay this, the implementation for 8 months. Mr. Speaker, I support this bill, but request that the issues I've raised, which are important issues, be looked into by the committee so that we do not have a repeat of this in the coming financial year. Thank you.
Senator Agnes Kavindu.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to first of all congratulate the Committee of Finance and Budget, Senate. And Mr. Speaker, I want to say and to echo the words of those who have gone before me, this bill is overdue and counties are suffering. Mr. Speaker, I want to say that I will support the bill even as Machakos is losing on, like the first schedule, Machakos last year had 445,350,996, and this year now they've been allocated 247,159,451, losing 48,967,916. And Mr. Speaker, this one, I can say it's because CHPs were not there before, and now the CHPs have been allocated in Machakos 83,250,000, which is okay. And as we delay and not passing this bill, the CHVs are suffering. Also, the doctors are on the streets demonstrating every day because of lack of payments and their promotions. And so, Mr. Speaker, we should pass this bill as soon as possible, because on the doctors and the CH.5 billion, which is not very good, but which is okay for the time being, so that they can continue living just like any other person. On the second schedule, Mr. Speaker, I would say that Machakos is gaining, because last year, 2023-2024, Machakos was not allocated any money on roads maintenance, and this year we have been allocated 1,887,445, which is okay. And Mr. Speaker, on unconditional and additional allocations, county government from the court fines. Machakos last year had 14,336,324. This year we've gained with 1,617,000. Mr. Speaker, I think we should pass it as it is, as we continue following up with the rest of it. Mr. Speaker, when we continue delaying, because this money has already been dispatched from the partners' accounts, Mr. Speaker, we continue losing on interest, and we continue paying on interest when the counties are not working with this money. So, Mr. Speaker, I would say that we pass it as it is, as we continue fighting for increment of it. And we should also warn county assemblies not to interfere so much on the National Assembly not to interfere so much on the allocations of the county governments, because we are on the ground and we know what is happening on the ground. Mr. Speaker, like when you go to Machakos and go and see the roads that belongs to county government of Machakos, they are in pathetic situations, Mr. Speaker. And that is why the governors are saying that they should be given this money so that they can work on the roads. And when the National Assembly, the MPs are working on their roads, the county governments should also be working on their roads. Mr. Speaker, I support. Thank you.
Senator Kinyua Nderitu.
Asante sana Bwana Spika kwa kunipa fursa hii. Kwanza mwanzo nataka kuunga mkono mswada huu, na vile vile Bwana Spika, nataka kupongeza kamati ya fedha ya Seneti ambayo inaongozwa na Senator Roba kwa kazi nzuri ambayo wamefanya, Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika, moja kwa moja Bwana Spika, nikiingia katika ratiba ya kwanza Bwana Spika, ukiangalia katika jedwali, Bwana Spika, naona ya kwamba vile ambavyo, na kwa sababu jukumu yetu kubwa Bwana Spika kama seneti hii, jukumu letu kubwa kulingana na kipengee 96 ni ugavi wa hela ambazo zinaenda katika gatuzi zetu, na vile vile Bwana Spika kutetea na kulinda gatuzi zetu. Bwana Spika, nakumbuka ya kwamba kiranja wa wengi Senator Boni Halwale amesema ya kwamba sisi ni maadui wa gatuzi. Lakini Bwana Spika, nataka kumkosoa niseme sisi si maadui, lakini sisi tunatetea gatuzi zetu Bwana Spika. Na vile vile Bwana Spika tunazilinda kutokana na wale ambao wangependa ambao ni maadui wa gatuzi. Bwana Spika, kuanzia mwanzo nataka kusema ya kwamba napongeza vile ambavyo wauguzi wa pale nyanjani Bwana Spika wamepewa hela. Hasa Bwana Spika, nikiangalia kwetu Laikipia Bwana Spika, naona wamepatiwa milioni 25 Bwana Spika. Kwa sababu hao ndio wanafanya kazi nzuri Bwana Spika. Ukitembea nchi kama Cuba Bwana Spika, utaona ya kwamba hawa wahudumu wa nyanjani ndio wanahusika pakubwa, kwa sababu wao ndio wako na wananchi pale mashinani Bwana Spika. Mgonjwa awe na ugonjwa wa saratani, awe na ugonjwa wa moyo na magonjwa yale mengine Bwana Spika ambayo yanaathiri watu wetu, wale ndio wako pale na wanaangalia wagonjwa wetu pale Bwana Spika. Kwa wao kutokuwa hawajalipo Bwana Spika inaleta kero katika nchi yetu ya Kenya Bwana Spika, na ndiposa wakati huu nataka kushukuru kamati kwa sababu tayari wameweka shilingi milioni 25 ambazo zitakwenda kwa wauguzi wetu wa nyanjani pale Laikipia Bwana Spika. Vile vile Bwana Spika, ukiangalia katika jedwali pale nataka sana kujadili mambo ya Laikipia Bwana Spika, kwa sababu kila seneta yuko hapa anaweza akaguzia kaunti yake Bwana Spika. Ukiangalia tena katika kulipa madeni ya wale maafisa wa afya pale gatuzi zetu, naona ya kwamba Laikipia tumepewa milioni 40 Bwana Spika. Hii itasaidia kwa sababu Bwana Spika, wewe hivi juzi ulikuwa umeenda hapa kuchukua dua ambalo lilikuwa imeletwa na hawa madaktari, kwa sababu kila wakati ni maandamano kwa sababu hawajapewa pesa yao Bwana Spika. Hawa wauguzi ndio tunategemea kila wakati, kwa sababu Bwana Spika unaweza kukosa barabara Bwana Spika, unaweza kukosa hata elimu, lakini Bwana Spika ukiwa mgonjwa unaweza ukafa. Kwa hivyo ni vizuri sana hizi hela zimewekwa ndio waweze kuwa wamehudumiwa, kwa sababu Bwana Spika wamekuwa kila wakati na shida. Bwana Spika, ninataka kuangazia hizi sehemu ambazo zimetengwa ama KAIP ambazo zimetengwa kuongeza dhamana za bidhaa zetu Bwana Spika. Sijui kamati hii ilitumia ujuzi upi ama ni walitumia kiwango kipi kuchagua ni gatuzi zipi Bwana Spika ambazo watapatia hizi hela. Nakumbuka sisi kwetu Laikipia pale Rumuruti Bwana Spika, aliyekuwa waziri wa viwanda na biashara Mheshimiwa Moses Kuria alikuja pale na tukafungua hiyo sehemu na tukapiana zaidi ya eka 300 kufanya hii shughuli Bwana Spika. Kulikuwa na sherehe kubwa, tulikuwa na mbwembwe Bwana Spika, na sisi tukajitolea na tukaweka ile sehemu na tukasema ya kwamba hii ndio sehemu itakayotumika kwa sababu tuna shamba kubwa. Kwa hivyo tukangoja kwa hamu na gamu, kwa sababu serikali kuu ilisema itapeana shilingi milioni 250 kwa kila gatuzi Bwana Spika. Lakini nikiangalia hapa Bwana Spika naona ndio kuna gatuzi 19 ambazo zimepewa. Nakumbuka kiranja walio wengi Boni Halwale amesema ya kwamba ndio tuwe na subra, kwa sababu hata kaunti yake haijapewa zile hela. Tuwe na subra tuweze kuangalia pengine wakati ule mwingine na sisi tutakuwa tumeangaliwa. Lakini Bwana Spika, shida moja hata maswali ambayo tunapaswa kujiuliza, sehemu hizi ambazo zimetengwa tayari tumejua ni bidhaa zipi ambazo tutakuwa tukiongeza dhamana, kwa sababu tunaweza tukatengeneza hata serikali ikaleta pesa pale lakini ibaki kuwa mahame Bwana Spika, kwa sababu tumeona mambo mengi yakitendeka hata nyumba nyingi zinatengenezwa, vitu vingi vinafanywa, lakini inabaki kuwa mahame, Bwana Spika. Kwa hivyo tuangazie kama seneta, pesa tukigawa ziende katika gatuzi yetu, zile sehemu huwe kuwa zikitumika vizuri, Bwana Spika. Tusitengeneze ya kwamba tumetengeza zile sehemu ya kuongeza dhamana katika bidhaa zetu na hatuna chochote ambacho tunaongeza dhamana. Kama kwetu Laikipia tuna nyanya, tuna mifugo, na tuchague ni kipi ambacho tutakuwa tukiongeza dhamana. Ukienda Usingishu nao wakue ni kipi wanaongeza dhamana, ndio tusifanye jambo moja sisi wote tukue kuna jambo tunafanya. Ni kukue kila gatuzi, Bwana Spika, ikue imechagua ni nini ambacho wataongeza dhamana. Ukienda Narok upate ni ng'ombe, kama ni maziwa, Bwana Spika, tunashabikia Narok kwa kuwa kufanya ile kazi. Ukienda Nyamira, Bwana Spika, ni mandizi, Bwana Spika, tunashabikia hiyo. Lakini Bwana Spika, isiwe ati ukienda Narok ni maziwa, ukienda Kisii ni maziwa, ukienda Nyamira ni maziwa, itakuwa ni kazi bure, Bwana Spika. Kwa hivyo ni mpaka tujipange, tujue ni lipi tunakacholifanya wapi, Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika, kuna huu mfuko wa ushuru wa kutengeneza barabara, Bwana Spika. Kwa lugha ya Kiingereza wanasema RMLF, Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika, mimi naunga mkono kabisa, kwa sababu hakuna barabara zimesemekana vizuri. Hizi ni barabara za gatuzi na hizi ni barabara za serikali kuu. Ni Bwana Spika, hata gatuzi zetu zinahitaji zile pesa, Bwana Spika. Ni hivi juzi tu waziri wa barabara alikuja na kutuambia kwamba tayari shilingi 7 zitatumika kulipa madeni ya serikali kuu. Lakini hata gatuzi zetu zina madeni, na sisi wa Kenya ndio tumetoa zile shilingi 7 kwa mafuta wakati tunanunua. Kwa hivyo hizi pesa zinapaswa kugawa mpaka kwa county, Bwana Spika. Na Bwana Spika, nikiangalia katika ratiba ya pili, Bwana Spika, Laikipia kulingana na ugavi wa fedha hizi za RMLF, Bwana Spika, Laikipia tungepewa milioni 235, Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika, hili jambo kupelekwa kotini, naomba tu koti zetu zifanye kwa haraka ndio tuweze kupata. Sisi Laikipia hatutaondoka, Bwana Spika. Mimi nitasimama kidete, nitasimama wima, kwa sababu barabara zetu za Laikipia ziko hali mbaya, Bwana Spika. Na kusema ya kwamba National Assembly, Bwana Spika, ama jumba la kitaifa litaleta mvurugu huu, ndio sisi watu kaunti zetu zisiweze kupata hela hizi, Bwana Spika, tutapinga leo, kesho kutwa mtondo na mtondogo, tuweze kupata pesa zinazoenda katika kaunti zetu, Bwana Spika. Na sisi Laikipia hizi milioni 235 tusiambia kwamba, Bwana Spika, sijui governor atatumia vibaya, sijui atatumia namna gani. Kuna sheria zitafuatwa. Akitumia pesa vibaya, kuna kamati ambayo inaongozwa na Kajwang hapa, na kuna kamati nyingine ambayo inaongozwa na Otosi, na wanaangalia haya mambo kwa kindani, Bwana Spika. Na vile vile, Bwana Spika, tuna MCA wetu ambao wanafanya kazi ya oversight ya kwanza kuangalia. Kwa hivyo kusiletwe vijisababu vyovyote, Bwana Spika, kusema ya kwamba pesa hazitapelekwa katika county kwa sababu fulani ama fulani ataiba. Bwana Spika, nani alisema hata wabunge wa kitaifa wao ni malaika, Bwana Spika? Hata wao si malaika, Bwana Spika. Kwa hivyo sisi tunataka hizi hela ziende katika gatuzi zetu, Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika, nikimalizia, kuna hizi nikiangalia, Bwana Spika, naona katika ratiba ya kwanza, Bwana Spika, ninaona ya kwamba kuna yale makao makuu ya gatuzi zetu ambayo yamepewa pesa ndio yaweze kumalizika, Bwana Spika. Lakini kunasemekana ni 5, Bwana Spika, lakini nikiangalia naona 8, kwa sababu naona Isiolo, Bwana Spika, naona Lamu, Bwana Spika, vile vile naona Tana River na Tharaka Nithi, Bwana Spika. Sijui ya 5 ni ipi kwa sababu haiko hapa. Kwa hivyo kama lakini hela zake hazijaorodheshwa hapa, Bwana Spika. Kwa hivyo ni mpaka tuwe na marekebisho ndio tuweze kuongeza pesa ya Nyandarua, kwa sababu Nyandarua wanahitaji makao makuu. Bwana Spika, kila wakati napitia pale Olkalao nikienda kwetu Laikipia, naona lile jumba liko pale na wasipopewa pesa litakuwa mahame, Bwana Spika. Kwa hivyo ni vizuri hili jambo liangaliwe. Bwana Spika, nachukua fursa hii kusema asanti na naunga mkono mswada huu.
Commissioner Mugen.
I want to begin, Mr. Speaker, by thanking the Committee of Finance that has put a lot of effort behind this bill. But, Mr. Speaker, yesterday we were having a session with the governor of Nyamira, looking at how money is being spent in our county government of Nyamira. Mr. Speaker, we can put a lot of effort as senators, send a lot of money to our counties, but unless, Mr. Speaker, this money is used for the intended purposes, it will never be impactful on the citizens of our respective counties. I'm happy, Mr. Speaker, that the county of Nyamira was to assist the governor to solve some of the challenges he's facing. I'm happy, Mr. Speaker, that for my community health promoters, the guys who are in the first line of defense in ensuring that we are assisting our people in accessing health care, are going to get an allocation of 44,370,000. How sad is it, honorable senators, that in my county, the last time community health promoters received a coin from our county government was in October 2023. They have been working for more than a year without getting any coin from the county government of Nyamira. I hope and I pray to Almighty God that the governor will not be tempted to divert this money. This money should go to promoters so that they even grow to become specialists in their field. What is wrong in training these people in nutrition? Take them, those who have interest, they should join our health training colleges so that they grow and become nurses. But when you demotivate them, allow them to work for 2 years, you don't pay them. We are not motivating these kind of people. I had Senator Kinyua speak about the value chain addition. I can see, Mr. Speaker, that my county is receiving a total of 168,123,322 to support value chain for farmers. But I'm posing this question, Mr. Speaker. If we went to the county of Nyamira today, are we going to find farmers who have been trained on any value chain? Senator Kinyua, if we come to your county today, we have been sending money to your governor. Will we find a group of farmers who will tell us that, yes, World Bank supported us now? If you come to Nyamira, I'm sure you'll not get anything. It's unfortunate, honorable senators, that this money ends up in the pockets of governors. Because value chain means you must address post-harvest activities. Maybe if it's bananas, you should tell us that the Kisii farmers have now been trained. After they harvest their bananas, they have started producing banana crisps, for example. Are you going to get that in Nyamira, Mr. Speaker? I'm sure you'll not find anything close to any value addition on my farmers. I'm sure 100%. But how much money is going to Nyamira? 168,123,000. Have we even trained farmers on marketing? I don't know about Meru. Maybe Kawera may have trained farmers before she left. I don't know. But I can tell you, Mr. Speaker, in many counties, Mr. Speaker, this money ends up in the pockets of governors. Yesterday, we were treated to a comedy, Mr. Speaker. Our governor said it took time to submit documents to the auditors because he wanted to rearrange photos that he took training farmers, photos he took doing public participation activities. But, Mr. Speaker, when you look at those photos, it's like he took Seventh-day Adventists attending a church under trees, and he says this is public participation. And then he hides the images of the participants because he doesn't want to see there is a pastor somewhere. Mr. Speaker, when we give money to counties, let's follow with oversight. And I want to invite the Kajuang committee to come to Nyamira and we visit these farmers groups. Yeah, I'll accompany them. And I'm even inviting Senator for Naru. Let's go down to the counties, Mr. Speaker. I want to go to Nyamira and see this 168 million, Mr. Speaker. Which group of farmers benefited? And their names. Let me know the Mogaka. Let me know whether there is Onyancha, Nyaboke, Maria, Mageto. Who are these farmers who have benefited from this money, Mr. Speaker? If you look at Kenya Informal Settlement project, we are sending another 151,515,000. Do you know what this money is meant for, Mr. Speaker? This money is supposed to reduce poverty in our counties. This money is supposed to reduce poverty in our counties. When I go to Nyamira, I should see maybe some youths who have been trained to improve their skills. I should be able to see youths who have been given money by our governors to start some business, Mr. Speaker, because this is money that is coming from donors, and we will pay for it. It's not free money. But unfortunately, when this money reaches our counties, they call accounting officers and say, imekuja, nataka yangu ile nyumba yangu sijamaliza, 20 million. We must do something as governors, as senators, Mr. Speaker, to put the governors to account for every coin that we send. We have come from vacation, Mr. Speaker, because we want our people down at the grassroots to get this money so that it improves and changes their lives. But not to send money so that governors can build big mansionettes. That's not the purpose, Mr. Speaker. For donor money, somebody somewhere has sacrificed to ensure that we get this money, Mr. Speaker. I plead with the senators to take advantage of our oversight committees. Invite these committees to your counties. Let the governor give you a list of the people who have benefited. I want to see from Nyamira the youth groups that have become beneficiaries from the hundreds of millions that is going to Nyamira. That's what it means to oversight our counties, Mr. Speaker, so that the money goes down to the villages, so that devolution can be felt, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I've seen we have been allocated 105 million for industrial park. How I wish, Mr. Speaker, my governor can pick my call. I take him to Kitui to benchmark and see what the governor of Kitui is doing. Mr. Speaker, I want you to accompany me to Nyamira. You see what is happening at a place called Isoronga, where the governor is doing an industrial park. All that he did is to put a fence round, did some groundbreaking, and that was it. But money has already been sent and spent at our county in Nyamira, Mr. Speaker. I know, Mr. Speaker, that the intention behind the aggregate industrial parks was very good. We want to create opportunities for business for our people. But again, the same question, Mr. Speaker. Unless our governors understand the vision of President William Ruto, they will provide the weakest link in him achieving his vision, Mr. Speaker. So again, I appeal to Governor Nyaribo. When this money hits your account, it's not your personal money. When this money hits your account, we want to see activities in Isironga. We want to see construction going on. We want to see a building go up, Mr. Speaker. 105 million is not just some little change, Mr. Speaker. This money that can do work that can be seen. And that's what we really need to see. Finally, Mr. Speaker, this money on RMLF, how I wish we could ring fence this money. How I wish we could ring fence this money to do tarmac roads in our counties. Because if we are giving this money to our counties to go and do Maram roads, you are just giving the money to it. Senator Sigei, In Bomet, you send this money to your governor. You will see tomorrow you'll be wearing a suit worth 200,000 from the money you have sent him. Because tarmac, they will tarmac a road that has already been tarmacked by the member of parliament. So if we need to transform our counties, let us ring fence, condition this money. If it goes to, even if you do 2 kilometers, it's okay. Let us do even 5 kilometers in a financial year. In 5 years, we would have done 25. That will be transformative, Mr. Speaker. So I thank the chair for the good work done, but the job is also cut out for us as senators. In our oversight role, we must follow this money down to the grassroots and ensure that we get a detailed report on how it is being spent, who is the recipient, who is the beneficiary, all the community groups that have received the money. Let us have a schedule from each constituency so that governors will know that the senators of the Republic of Kenya are watching. I support, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Wakiri Ilali.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to equally add my voice to this very important bill. Mr. Speaker, it's important because this House has been recalled from recess to come and deal with this critical, Okongo Mogene has said, monies that we wish. The monies which will be, at the end of this bill, once it's voted for and passed, that money is utilized for the intended purposes. Mr. Speaker, it is a very crucial bill because besides us asking for the monies to be released to the counties in good time, we are equally called upon as the Senate to make sure that that money, once it's already released, is put into good use. I want to appreciate and commend the committee that has burned the midnight oil to make sure that this report gets here, the bill is availed before the House for debate and finally approval and vote. But again, the biggest and the greatest challenge is the fact that we have had to be recalled from recess because of the delays which has been occasioned by the sibling rivalry between this particular House and the National Assembly. Mr. Speaker, nonetheless, we are here and the committee has done a commendable job. And I wish to just make a few comments, particularly with regard to the fact that we are dealing with this bill because we want our respective counties to get additional allocation. And it is reflected, Mr. Speaker, in fact, from the objectives of the bill, that this bill seeks to allocate supplementary or rather additional resources to our various county governments and define respective responsibilities, particularly with the appearing before the various committees and the experiences that we get, the experiences that we see from not only their presentation, but even the documentations that come from their offices, together with the documentations that the committees and this House are utilizing, courtesy of the Office of the Auditor General, are so wanting and with glaring misappropriation and corruption. And Mr. Speaker, how I wish that even as we push for these resources, we do not send the resources and, as we have always said, have the devolved corruption use the money for otherwise unintended purposes. Mr. Speaker, this particular bill, and I want to speak to the specific provisions of the bill running from the clauses. First of all, Mr. Speaker, under clause 4, which deals with the first schedule of the bill, the allocations, which will consist of various funds. And these funds, Mr. Speaker, are the funds which, as I've said, has been occasioned because of the delays in between the National Assembly and the Senate. Mr. Speaker, the additional funds are pursuant to the provisions of Article 201, 202 of the Constitution. The most of it, Mr. Speaker, is the fact that we are asking all our county governments, or rather we are supporting all our county governments to get additional funding. In this case, Mr. Speaker, each county government will get additional allocation from the national share. And this particular fund will be expected to be utilized for the purpose that it has. Under clause 5, Mr. Speaker, where it gives us the various streams of these additional conditional and unconditional allocations, we have got the one which I will want to speak specifically to the ones which are relevant to the county that I represent, the county government of Bomet, where on the one hand we do not have, of course, under column B, allocations for purposes of additional or rather construction of the county headquarters. Colleagues here have talked about funds which are allocated for purposes of industrial and aggregation parks in various counties. This, Mr. Speaker, is one allocation which out of the 47 counties, 19 of them have so far benefited. And this particular allocation, Mr. Speaker, which is reflected under Schedule 5, under Clause 5, sorry, will be expected to be utilized for good use. It was in the course of this particular allocation, Mr. Speaker, expected that our respective counties at their level also avail in their budget the additional 250 million. I am aware, Mr. Speaker, that in the county of Bomet, this ought to have happened in the previous financial year, so that even though it is not among the 19 that has already benefited, and those which will actually benefit from the passage of this bill, the allocation at the county level from the previous funds ought to have been utilized. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, because of what we have called the devolved corruption, the allocation of 50 million that had been put by the Assembly for this purpose has already been reallocated elsewhere because of the interest which the leadership at the county level have utilized. This particular bill will make sure that the 19 counties that are expected to benefit will benefit, and we look forward to making sure that once this 250 million is disbursed, those counties are to use that money to develop the industrial parks, to support the locals, to support the people of the respective counties, to get jobs and to add value to their produce from those industrial parks. The most important, and this is the one, Mr. Speaker, that all of us as members of this House support to the last coin, is with regards to the conditional allocation for county health promoters, CHPs. In this case, Mr. Speaker, this is one of the most critical support that we needed to do to help those who are in the first line of defense in our health facilities, within our villages. And these are the team that, Mr. Speaker, for the last over 2 years in the county government of Bomet, they have never gotten any payment from the county government. This allocation, Mr. Speaker, will ensure that at least this team gets appreciation for the work they are doing, supports the community, and continues also to be motivated so that even though the allocation might not be sufficient enough to pay them for the work they are doing, they are appreciated and they will be able to continue. There is still the challenge of kitting. In most places, some of these community health promoters do not have kits. They actually risk their lives, they risk their health in their process of supporting the communities that they come from, and in this case, in most cases, in most counties, without any money that has been paid to them. This particular bill, Mr. Speaker, will ensure that these monies get to support them and ensures that we enhance the support of the health sector, which under the Constitution is a devolved function. Mr. Speaker, the conditional allocation for purposes of basic salary arrears for county governments also under the same clause is very critical. Most, if not all, county governments have got arrears in almost all the sectors of their employees. It is not only with regards to the health sector, but in this case, the health workers allocation, which is a conditional one in this case, is welcome. It's a welcome move, and I look forward to these monies being disbursed so that those who are in our health facilities, whether they have arrears or not, are equally promoted to ensure that they continue supporting the health sector and the communities that they come from. Mr. Speaker, clause 7 and 8 of this particular bill, or rather from clause 6 of this particular bill, Mr. Speaker, provides that the Cabinet Secretary is expected at every 15th day of the month to publish what we call the transfers. In this case, it is expected that once this publication is done, we are able as a House to track and ensure that we are able to follow on the level of transparency and accountability, because these regular monthly updates which are required by this particular bill is to help us to get to know how much has been disbursed to this particular county, who among those who are in charge of those counties have responded by ensuring that they do an update of publication. And in this case, having them in the Kenya Gazette will ensure the transparency that we have. The unfortunate thing, Mr. Speaker, is that even though these disbursements, because the experience that we have had for the last financial year is that the disbursements have been done in good time, but we do not get the publications in good time and the gazettement to ensure that we're able to track, so that the allegations that we get across the board from among the governors that there are delays in disbursements do not become an issue, and we will thereafter be able to follow and ensure that the funds which have been disbursed are put into good use. And I wish this particular clause will be fully implemented by the Cabinet Secretary as well as the CECs from the relevant counties, sharing with the public on those disbursements. Clause 7 on the clause 8, sorry, Mr. Speaker, on this annual reporting equally speaks to the concerns that we have. Mr. Speaker, the schedules which we've been given, which I want you to allow me to just make comments, is because of the amount of the additional funds which we are going to be sending. This particular bill will make sure that the county government of Bomet will get an additional 491 million Kenya shillings. How I wish this amount would be used into good use. How I wish that what we have since lost, which is subject of investigation of over 1.6 billion, do not become another conduit for the additional monies which we are fighting for. Today, we are angels, as one colleague has said here, because we are fighting for additional revenues to be given to our counties. But tomorrow, when we speak and ask for proper use of resources and ask the county governments and our respective governors, when tomorrow I speak and ask Professor Barchok how he has abused the opportunity given by misappropriating funds, we are no longer angels, but in this case, Mr. Speaker, we will fight, we will speak so that whatever little resource that we extend to the county government, that amount is put to good use. If we are talking about 74 million towards community health promoters, those people must benefit from that money. We're talking about basic salary for health workers whose arrears are in billions of shillings. They should get the money once the amount is disbursed. When we are talking about RMLF 163 million, that is an additional amount being allocated to the county government of Bomet. How I wish they are able to speak about the allocations for the last financial year, because in most cases, the monies that are not utilized for purposes of construction of those roads, whether even in some instances to be as motorable as those which are done by other institutions. It will be an opportunity for us to push for additional money, and I want to encourage the members of this House to also speak tomorrow to make sure that the monies they have sent is put into good use. Where there is abuse, let the law that we have in this country act so that we also ensure that our people get services for the monies that we send. Otherwise, as a House, we will be pushing for additional money. We will fight with the national government. We will fight with the National Assembly. We will ask for more money to go to our county governments, and as the rest of my colleagues here have said, that amount that is sent out will go into the pockets of the county governments, of the county governors and their friends, because an additional amount of 491 million is not small amount of money. But we would want to see that a reflection of service delivery to the people, whether in terms of payment of salaries, whether in terms of service delivery,
to a number of the projects, which unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, those which are funded by other partners are visible. Those which are funded by the county governments are not feasible. We would like to call upon those people.
So, or was rearranged. So, for the purpose of today's business in the afternoon, I want us to lay some papers and give notices of motion. Then we'll go back now to the debate of the bill. That's 5 minutes. Clerk.
Order number 5, papers.
Chair Sipak.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the Senate today, the 27th of March. Embu, Kitui, Machakos, Makueni, Nyandarua, Nyeri, Kirinyaga, Murang'a, Kiambu, Turkana, West Pokot, Samburu, Trans Nzoia, Uasin Gishu, Elgeyo Marakwet, Nandi, Baringo, Laikipia, Nakuru, Narok, Kajiado, Kericho, Bomet, Kakamega, Vihiga, Bungoma, Busia, Siaya, Kisumu, Homa Bay, Migori, Kisii, Nyamira, and Nairobi City County Executive for the financial year 2023-2024.
Okay, thank you. Do you have another paper?
Yes, Mr.
Okay,
Mr. Speaker, sir, with your indulgence, I also beg to lay the following papers on the table of the Senate today, 27th of March 2025. Reports of the Select Committee on County Public Accounts on the consideration of the reports of the Auditor General on the financial statements for Mombasa, Kwale, Kilifi, Tana River, Lamu, Taita Taveta, Garissa, Wajir, Mandera, Marsabit, Isiolo, Meru, Tharaka Nithi, Embu, Kitui, Machakos, Makueni, Nyandarua, Nyeri, Kirinyaga, Murang'a, Kiambu, Turkana, West Pokot, Samburu, Trans Nzoia, Uasin Gishu, Elgeyo Marakwet, Nandi, Baringo, Laikipia, Nakuru, Narok, Kajiado, Kericho, Bomet, Kakamega, Vihiga, Bungoma, Busia, Siaya, Kisumu, Homa Bay, Migori, Kisii, Nyamira, and Nairobi City County Assemblies for the financial year 2023-2024. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair, County Public Investments and Special Funds Committee.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the Senate today, being 27th March 2025. The reports of the Select Committee on County Public Investments and Special Funds on the consideration of the audit report for the financial years 2023-2024 for Diani, Eldoret, Iten, Kapsabet, Kakamega, Kilifi, Kisii, Kinango, Kwale, Lamu, Lungalunga, Malindi, Mumias, Mwatate, Nyamira, Voi, and Wote municipalities. Further, Mr. Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the Senate today, 27th March 2025. The reports of the Select Committee on County Public Investments and Special Funds on the consideration of the audit report for the financial year 2023-2024 for Busia, Kwale, Lamu, Malindi, Tavevo, Water and Sewerage Company Limited, and Eldoret, Gatanga, Gusii, Kakamega, Kapsabet Nandi, Kibwezi Makindu, Mbooni, Murang'a South, Murang'a, and Tana Water and Sewerage Companies Limited. Further, Mr. Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the Senate today, 27th March 2025. The reports of the Select Committee on County Public Investments and Special Funds on the consideration of audit report for the financial year 2023-2024 for Busia County Health Services Fund, Kapsabet County Referral Hospital, Kisii County Teaching and Referral Hospital, Lamu County Referral Hospital, and Nyamira County Referral Hospital. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Next is the chairperson, Committee on Finance and Budget.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I do beg to lay the following paper on the table of the Senate, the today, 27th, report of the Standing Committee of Finance and Budget on the consideration of the County Government's Additional Allocation Bill, Senate Bill number 1 of 2025.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Chairperson, County Public Accounts Committee.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to give notice of the following motion, that the Senate adopts the reports of the Select Committee on County Public Accounts on the consideration of the reports of the Auditor General on the financial statements, Volume 1 and Volume 2, for Mombasa, Kwale, Kilifi, Tana River, Lamu, Taita Taveta, Garissa, Wajir, Mandera, Marsabit, Isiolo, Meru, Tharaka Nithi, Embu, Kitui, Machakos, Makueni, Nyandarua, Nyeri, Kirinyaga, Murang'a, Kiambu, Turkana, West Pokot, Samburu, Trans Nzoia, Uasin Gishu, Elgeyo Marakwet, Nandi, Baringo, Laikipia, Nakuru, Narok, Kajiado, Kericho, Bomet, Kakamega, Vihiga, Bungoma, Busia, Siaya, Kisumu, Homa Bay, Migori, Kisii, Nyamira, and Nairobi City County Executives for the financial year 2023-2024, laid on the table of the Senate on Thursday, the 27th of March 2025, and approves the recommendations of the Committee on the financial statements and fiduciary risk assessment of the respective county executives for the financial year 2023-2024. Thank you.
Next, Chair, you have another notice?
Yes.
Give all your notices.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, I also I beg to give notice of the following motion, that the Senate adopts the reports of the Select Committee on County Public Accounts on the consideration of the reports of the Auditor General on the financial statements for Mombasa, Kwale, Kilifi, Tana River, Lamu, Taita Taveta, Garissa, Wajir, Mandera, Marsabit, Isiolo, Meru, Tharaka Nithi, Embu, Kitui, Machakos, Makueni, Nyandarua, Nyeri, Kirinyaga, Murang'a, Kiambu, Turkana, West Pokot, Samburu, Trans Nzoia, Uasin Gishu, Elgeyo Marakwet, Nandi, Baringo, Laikipia, Nakuru, Narok, Kajiado, Kericho, Bomet, Kakamega, Vihiga, Bungoma, Busia, Siaya, Kisumu, Homa Bay, Migori, Kisii, Nyamira, and Nairobi City County Assemblies for the financial year 2023-2024, laid on the table of the Senate on Thursday, 27th of March 2025, and approves the recommendations of the Committee on the financial statements of the respective county assemblies for the financial year 2023-2024. Thank you.
Senator Otsi, you also may need to move your motion.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to give notice that the Senate adopts the reports of the Select Committee on County Public Investments and Special Funds on the consideration of the audit report for the financial year 2023-2024 for Diani, Eldoret, Iten, Kapsabet, Kakamega, Kilifi, Kisii, Kinango, Kwale, Lamu, Lungalunga, Malindi, Mumias, Mwatate, Nyamira, Thursday, 27th March 2025, and approves the recommendations of the committee on the financial statements of the respective municipalities for the financial years 2023-2024. Mr. Speaker, I also beg to give the motion that the Senate adopts this report of the Select Committee on the County Public Investment and Special Funds on the consideration of audit reports for the financial year 2023-2024 for A. Busia approves the recommendations of the committee on the financial statements for the respective water service providers for the financial year 2023-2024. Mr. Speaker, I also beg to give notice that the Senate adopts the reports of the Select Committee on County Public Investments and Special Funds on the consideration of audit reports for the financial year 2023-2024 for Busia County Health Services Fund, Kapsabet County Referral Hospital, Kisii County Teaching and Referral Hospital, Lamu County Referral Hospital, and Nyamira County Referral Hospital, laid on the table of the Senate on Thursday, 27th March 2025, and approves the recommendation of the Committee on the financial statements of respective county referral hospitals for the financial year.
Give Senator the mic, clerk, please. Give Senator the mic, clerk, please.
The result of escalating insecurity in Isiolo County, which is really taking a very serious dimension. Mr. Speaker, there is an MCA of Burat Ward in Isiolo County by the name Nicholas Lorot, who was shot last evening with 4 bullets. Lorot, who was shot last evening with 4 bullets. Fortunately, he ensured that the situation has been contained. Because if our leaders are targeted, because the shooting, Mr. Speaker, happened at 7:30 p.m. in the evening, in the middle of the CBD of Isiolo County, where there is insecurity, where there is security apparatus full-time. Something needs to be done. And I remember on the, because National Assembly has done this, because National Assembly has done this, National Assembly has done that. I mean, for how long are we going to cry in this house? Can we have a solution to the challenges we have in this house? Because we have several experiences, even from other jurisdictions, Mr. Speaker, where Senate is independent of the National Assembly. Where I remember one time I traveled with Mutula Kilonzo Jr.
Senator Dulo, there is a point of order from Senator Samson Cherargei. What's your point of order, Senator?
Mr. Speaker, I raise understanding order 58. And I'm surprised. I thought Senator Dulo is the chair of National Security and Foreign Relations. She should be requesting the House to brief the House on the escalating insecurity in the country instead of blaming it elsewhere. Mr. Speaker, is it in order that understanding order 58 under the chairperson's
may, by the indulgence of the Senate, explain matters of a personal nature, although there is no question before the Senate.
No, Mr. Speaker, so I don't know why Dulo is getting irritated, and yet she's the chairperson
Senator
of National
Cherargei,
Security.
You have raised your point as far as Senator Dulo being the chairperson
chair
of
National
Security
should be temperamental.
Senator Cherargei, you have raised your point as far as Senator Dulo being the chairperson of Security. But you are out of order as regards the reference to Standing Order 58, and I believe Senator Dulo should be able to speak to that aspect as the chairperson of that committee, as she's... Very well, that's noted. Senator Dulo, proceed and...
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I know where Senator Cherargei was going, but that is for another day. Mr. Speaker, in as much as I'm the chair of National Security, I have a right to talk and discuss matters affecting my people in Isiolo County. Mr. Speaker, let me proceed. Mr. Speaker, Before I was interrupted by Senator Cherargei, I was going to support the bill on what is contained in the bill as far as first schedule is concerned.
Senator Boni, allow Senator Dulo to proceed. And Senator Dulo, I want to warn you that you should confine your comments and contributions to the bill that is before the House. Let you be guided by Standing Order 120 on the relevance of this. And the chair has directed as much. Proceed to contribute to this bill.
Mr. Speaker, much obliged by, anyway, let me not go there. Now, as far as the bill is concerned, Mr. Speaker, in the first schedule of MLR, Mr. Speaker, I can see Isiolo County has been allocated 190 million, which is a lot of money, Mr. Speaker. And I think as a country we are really going wrong, because you will see that the budget for roads is within the constituency, is within the county government, is within the national government. If this budget is consolidated in one basket, it will do a wonderful job. But as it is, Mr. Speaker, this money is not helping our people on the ground. And much of this money, Mr. Speaker, is going to Maram roads. There are no roads that are tarmacked. And those roads are swept away immediately after the rains, which means we are dipping into a hole that is not giving us any benefit at all. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, if you go to county government, they don't have even experience and expertism as far as roads are concerned. There are no engineers in those counties. The work of the engineers are done by CECs and chief officers and the contractors themselves. So, Mr. Speaker, I am really happy that this budget is allocated to Isiolo County. But I hope the county government of Isiolo should put this money in proper use, because I know there is a bridge that collapsed yesterday in Isiolo County as a result of rains, and they should be able to utilize this money to have a solution to it. Mr. Speaker, the second point I wanted to raise is on community health promoters. Mr. Speaker, our health staff in those counties, they are in pathetic situation. Mr. Speaker, they don't get salary, they don't get allowances, their remittance is not remitted to NHIF, not to NSSF. Mr. Speaker, how do you expect a member of staff who has not gotten salary for 2-3 months to attend to a patient? It's not possible, Mr. Speaker. And something needs to be done. We are happy that this money is going to the counties. But when this money hits the account of the county government, this money is diverted elsewhere. Mr. Speaker, as a house, we cannot just sit here and always talk about county doing A, doing B, and doing C. You will see maybe the chair of Public Accounts Committee will speak to the reports of Public Accounts Committee. These governors, when they are asked to come and appear before the Public Accounts Committee or any other committee of oversight, none of them will appear. They will always give excuse. I've traveled to where I am sick, I am what, you know. Accountability is a big problem as far as a budget allocated to those counties are concerned. Mr. Speaker, on the headquarters, I remember I sat in a committee that allocated budget to the 5 counties that are financed by the national government. This was 2015. Up to date, Mr. Speaker, if I speak for Isiolo County, that building is a shell. That building is an eyesore. Mr. Speaker, 2015 to date, those are how many years down the line? We don't have offices. We are actually dipping into our pocket and paying rent to private individuals, while we should have actually prioritized in finishing that particular building. Mr. Speaker, we always get our priorities wrong. And I wish those who have been allocated, because I can see Isiolo has been allocated 150 million, they should utilize that money to actually finish that particular building. Mr. Speaker, the other point I wanted to speak to is County Industrial Park. As it has been indicated, there are only 19 counties that are financed. But you will see the governors all over now, they are running around looking for land where they can be able to fix industrial park. Even those who are not among the 19, Mr. Speaker, they are allocating budget to industrial park. And I think we need to have our priorities right. When you know our headquarters is not fixed, why do you run around fixing industrial park without a budget allocation? And I hope the finance committee should look into this and see those who already have budget in their allocated budget for that purpose in their budget are the only ones who should be actually given the 250 from national government. Mr. Speaker, on the projects that are actually pending, Mr. Speaker, there are so many projects that have stalled in this country. So many. And instead of, Mr. Speaker, finishing the projects that have stalled, even in the counties, the new governors, instead of finishing the projects that have been started, they'll abandon and start theirs. National government, you will see, instead of finishing the projects they have started, a very good one is equalization fund, Mr. Speaker. You will see there are so many projects under equalization fund that has been abandoned by the national government, Mr. Speaker. Those are the projects that should have helped our people, especially health centers, Mr. Speaker. I have several in my county that have stalled, Mr. Speaker, and up to now, almost 3, 4, 5 years down the line, they have not been completed. And I urge the department that is concerned with national government projects, they should be able to come up with projects that have stalled in all the counties so that we see how we can complete those projects. Mr. Speaker, 50.5 billion is a lot of money. And I must thank the Committee of Finance as far as this budget and this bill is concerned. And delay by national government is not right, Mr. Speaker, because we cannot always keep on fighting. And we need to move with speed and ensure that we have taken care of our people and we have provided service delivery. Like today, I've just received a message, Isiolo County Referral Hospital. Out of the 5 dialysis, there is only 1 working. The 4, they have collapsed. They cannot be repaired. And yet, if you look at the budget of the county governments, health takes the chunk of the budget that is allocated to hospitals or health department. Mr. Speaker, we are not assisting our people in this country. We are not holding the governors accountable as far as budget allocated to them is concerned. It's high time we stopped lamenting. We should take action on this budget allocated to county government. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Abbas.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. In the interest of time, I think I'll be very short. Honorable, I want to join my colleagues to support the bill. The most unfortunate thing is that this bill is coming when you have only 2 months to use the money. And so much to be done, a lot of money. And I think this is as a result of our colleagues in the National Assembly who feels that they have the authority and honors to appropriate bills as they want and the money given the way they want. Honorable Speaker, the bill allocates has been agreed upon by both houses. But unfortunately, every given time, we go into stalemate just because of self-interest. And I think this should end from henceforth. Honorable Speaker, if I come back to the main things, issues to do with fuel levy is actually also a big problem. One thing is the counties are supposed to take care of municipalities and towns and all these places. The money given to Kura should go to even the counties. And then this RML thing, the National Assembly is mad about it, should go back to them. and they withdraw the other money for Kura, which is actually billions. Because it's actually the responsibility of the counties to take care of the municipalities, towns, and other areas within their jurisdictions. Two, Honorable Speaker, the additional fund contains money that is actually borrowed from our donors, World Bank, the NIDA, government of the German Development Bank. This is loans. And you keep on every day extending, approving this bill, this money. And this is accruing interest to the Kenyan government and to the people of Kenya. That we're going to pay the extra money now because of undue delays made by the National Assembly. And therefore, I think next time we will not be allowed this kind of business, Honorable Speaker, that these two houses must make a conversation on how best we will be able to handle these issues which are always becoming a contention. Honorable Speaker, one thing we have seen is that the audited accounts that we're using to base our equitable shares is 2021. While our Auditor General has tried the best, she tried her best, that she has audited all of his, the audit account now available is 2023-24. And therefore, all equitable shares must be based on the most recently audited bills. Then just give us 3 years or 4 years backwards. This House must take note of that, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, if I come back to my county is getting about 82 million shillings for this additional fund. Hopefully it's going to be utilized. The one other thing, Honorable Speaker, is that the CAIB, Wajir has done a wonderful job there. There are big houses come up. But of course, now the CAIB in Wajir has no fund allocated. And what will happen? Those buildings will be stalled. And therefore, I think next time, money should be paid according to priorities and according to work pending and the work done. So instead of giving to a new county to start a new building, it's better to finish those existing buildings so that the counties can be able to finish the whole project. Honorable Speaker, one thing I found is that as we call some of the counties, I have a county that has 146 stall projects. So you wonder, 146 stall projects, and some of the stall projects have only 500,000 to be completed. So you get surprised. Why governors are not taking seriously on this kind of businesses? That I think this House again, as senators, we have to again come and make a conversation and agree upon on how best we will be able to compel the various respective governors to be able to complete this stall project. Honorable Speaker, last time I was making a conversation with some friends, and I found that the World Bank are quite concerned that the absorption rate for Kenya is only 8% of the money that has been given out. And this is the thing, we are not utilizing the fund even borrowed from the donors. Honorable Speaker, one other business is that we have so many reports. Today you are laying so many reports from CIPIC and PAC. These reports just go to shelves again. Are we auditing those reports? Are we following up the issues? Every committee has to follow up all these things, the concerns, so that at least we are able to achieve all that the concerns raised by CIPIC and PAC, so that at least we can be able to follow our counties and hold responsible for everybody. And at least we also compel the institutions like EEC and the Auditor General and the COB, at least to follow up this business, these issues that have been raised by the Senate. Honorable Speaker, one other thing is we have only 2 months to use this money, and we have got so many benny bills. These benny bills must be cleared, Honorable Speaker. Using this same funnel. With those few remarks, I want to give my friend time. Thank you very much, and I support.
Senator Olekina.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I wish that all senators would be here to be able to help us unfold this crisis, because listening to my colleagues, I'm afraid that most of them do not understand that we have a serious problem. We are talking about the funds in this additional allocation bill, yet the National Assembly has also come up with their own version of the bill. Mr. Speaker, this is a crisis You know, there was a famous movie, actually Apollo 13, space mission in 1970, where Jim Lowell came up with the phrase that Houston, we have a problem. Kenya, we have a problem. Right now, our counties will not be receiving the money because of the bickering between the two houses, the National Assembly and the Senate. We are discussing this bill for 2024-2025 financial year. And what has stopped these loans and grants, because it is important for Kenyans to understand out there, that the bill that we are discussing today is really a bill that will be able to allow money to be withdrawn from the consolidated fund to be deposited into county revenue funds. This is additional allocation from the share of revenue from the national government. It comes from grants, loans, funds, and where we have a serious problem is nothing but the RMLF. This is the Road Maintenance Levy Fund. I'm of the opinion that, Mr. Speaker, we should just remove that fund out of this bill so that we can be able to deal with it separately, so that the rest of the money can go to counties. Mr. Speaker, we have money that is supposed to go to counties from court fines. I'm surprised to note that it's only it's a handful of counties that have been allocated this money. Are you telling me that the judiciary is not collecting money in Narok, such that you do not send any money from the court fines? I think we should now be creative so that we can ensure that if money is collected from taxpayers in Narok, that money should go to Narok. If that money is collected from taxpayers in Kajiado, that money should go to Kajiado. You know, it is important for us to fight for the rights of our people. And the only way we can be able to fight for the rights of our people is if we understand their problems. But when we don't understand their problems, and we are elected as senators to be on this house, and we are not there, Mr. Speaker, look at how many of us are here. This is a special sitting where all of us ought to be here so that we can fight for our resources to go to counties. But guess what? We are not here. Some of us are busy politicking outside, you know, fighting for 2027 as if you know tomorrow. I think it is important that we limit ourselves to the work that we are supposed to be doing. I'm concerned that we are here talking about all these schedules. There is a 10.2 billion shillings from the RMLF that counties are supposed to be dividing. I know my county of Narok is supposed to get about 270-something million. But will they really get that money if we are fighting back and forth? We have this bill here from the Senate. I'm happy that my colleague...
Let's raise all members. Senator Olekina, the chair would not have wished to interrupt your flow of thought, but because of the standing order, we cannot go beyond that. You will have a balance of 16 minutes when the House resumes at 2:30 p.m. to conclude on your remarks. Now, honorable senators, it's now 1 p.m., time to adjourn the Senate. The Senate therefore stands adjourned until later today, Thursday, 27th of March, 2025 at 2:30 p.m.